Hey everybody, today I am in a super small, what would be considered really a suburb of Indianapolis, but really it's kind of its own super small town that stands alone, way out on the northeast side, really even east of Fishers. I'm in downtown Fortville. So we're gonna explore Fortville a little bit. And actually right behind me is Main Street and kind of the downtown area of Fortville. And we're gonna talk about how this place has changed and what it all has to offer. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Compton, a real estate agent with the Compton Home Group. Welcome back to the channel. And if this is your first time to the channel, then make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to learn everything there is to know about places like Fortville, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, anywhere in the surrounding metro, and make sure you tap the bell so you're notified every time we do a new video each and every week. Now we get reach outs from people all over the Indianapolis metro and all over the country with questions about places like Fortville, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, any of the surrounding metros. So if you have questions at all, then don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we've absolutely got your back with those questions, and we've absolutely got your back when you're making your move to Indianapolis or within Indianapolis. Hey everybody, today I'm in Fortville, Indiana, which is an exceptionally small town way out on the northeast side. It's actually east of Fishers, Indiana, and it's been small, of course, since it was incorporated into a town back in the 1800s. And it's a place that is a little unique for really several reasons. It's a small town that's not really connected to any suburb directly or Indianapolis, so it's really truly kind of out on its own. And sorry, I'm walking down Main Street in downtown Fortville right now, so there's gonna be a little bit of traffic coming up and down here and it might make some noise. But that is kind of slowly changing, the fact that it's detached. I can remember a long time ago, maybe not a long time ago, but 15 and 10 years ago, I used to ride my bike a lot with a good friend of mine and a couple other people too from time to time. And to get way out, away from Fishers where we lived, to get out into the country and get away from a lot of the traffic, we would actually come through Fortville. And it was a really good little spot because we could go past it, come back, and they always had, you know, a gas station, Subway, things like that, where you could fill your water bottles up or grab something to eat if you needed to on a really long ride. But like I said, that's kind of changing. So Fishers, Indiana has gone through a massive expansion over the past 20 years. Really exploded in its growth, and it's near 100,000 people or so now. And for the most part, most of Fishers has grown toward the east, and that is out toward Fortville. So Fortville in this downtown area, loud motorcycle, this place, I remember riding through here 10 and 15 years ago, and it had some shops and businesses, things like that, but for the most part, it was almost kind of a ghost town. And it's not very happening right now. It's the middle of the day, but it's a Friday, so later this evening, this place is just gonna be bustling with people. All up and down, all the parking spots will probably be taken here on Main Street. Extremely walkable, very, very cool. But since Fishers has pushed to the east, I feel like, well, people have started to notice Fortville. Now there's about 4,200 people here now, and when you look back in 1990 or so and close to 2000, there was less than 3,000 people. So, you know, we're talking a 25% increase in its population or so, which is, that's a big increase. You know, it's not a huge increase in the actual number of people, but it's a pretty good percentage increase for the population. But Fortville is a place that has a lot of old charm, like on this Main Street here, a lot of old buildings, and there's some new places actually going in, new independent shops, independent restaurants. In fact, one of my favorite places and my wife's favorite places right now, called the Fox Garden, is right here along Main Street. Not terribly expensive, the food is incredibly good. They've got a distillery, a little whiskey bar on the top. I'm not a big whiskey person, but they've got one at the top. You can sit outside, and they've got lots and lots of great craft beers. There's Taxman Brewing, actually the gray building right behind me just across the train tracks. Fantastic place to go. So more places are making it into Fortville just like that. So it's definitely a place that's kind of on the up and up, although I wouldn't say across the street terribly fast, but it's almost as if Fishers has gotten so close to it that people have taken notice of it. They're, what's this cute little town right here on the outside of Fishers? And lo and behold, people start to move out this way. And it's not terribly located. I mean, if we're talking about really far east Fishers, you'd think you're way outside of town, but actually to Monument Circle, which is really kind of downtown proper in Indianapolis, it's only roughly a 30-minute drive, maybe 40-minute drive. So, you know, if you work downtown and you live in Fortville, it may not be all that bad unless you have some pretty serious traffic. But since they've had this population, not explosion, but growth here in Fortville, you know, where are people going to live? So Fortville, been around a long time, and the residents that were here decades ago, of course, some of the housing is pretty old. But when you get just off Main Street and into some of those old houses, some of them are really, really cool. Now, some are very run down and need a lot of work, and parts of Fortville actually are pretty rough. And what I mean by rough is just that, you know, the houses are old, the buildings are old, and haven't been terribly well kept. But just like a lot of other neighborhoods in Indianapolis, with some revitalization going on, we've got this Main Street that's obviously being revitalized and kind of brought up to the times, and really popular places going in. The housing is also kind of falling in that same vein. So you'll have some very old historic houses built early 1900s that have been pretty heavily renovated. Now, of course, if you get into a home like that, you can expect to pay for it, but it's not going to be quite like it is maybe in one of the downtown neighborhoods of Indianapolis, where you could expect to pay $500,000, $600,000 for a home like that. You can probably get it less expensive here because it's not in Indianapolis. It's its own small town well outside of the city, and even outside of a place like Fishers. So that's not for everybody, of course. Not everybody wants to live in a place like that, but of course some people do. And I wouldn't mind living in a town of 4,000 with Indianapolis really close by, Fishers close by, but you can still kind of retreat here to your small town and keep it small town. But outside of those other homes, Fortville has a pretty good number of new build neighborhoods. So you can get into a brand new home or something that's very close to brand new in Fortville. And not the cheapest, of course. You're probably going to expect to pay $300 or so or more for a brand new build. But honestly, just about anywhere you go in Indianapolis and any of the surrounding metro on the outside, you can't find too many new build homes underneath that. If you do, they're kind of few and far between, honestly. So 300 and above is just kind of what you're going to expect to pay, and that's for a variety of homes as well. So Fortville, very, very cool little place, and my wife and I do like coming here. We haven't brought the kids here just yet. They do have an ice cream shop and maybe, you know, a couple of interesting things for them to do here in Fortville, but, you know, for a young couple, pretty neat place to go out to dinner and hang out on a really nice night. Now, there's one thing about the downtown Fortville area that can be interesting, but maybe also problematic. It has a set of train tracks that run right through the town, and if you ask my boys, who right now are 6 and 4, they think it's the coolest thing ever. But, you know, if you're sitting there at Taxman Brewing or at the Fox Garden and that train comes ripping through the town, there's no way you can ignore the fact that it's coming through here. It does not come through here slowly. It goes pretty fast. You might have actually seen me walk across those tracks. But it adds a little bit to the charm, and actually the trains here have a pretty tremendous history associated with the town. So those tracks go right down into Indianapolis and are important to some of the supply chain here. So you'll have that to deal with, although the trains don't run all day long every single minute. Obviously, you haven't heard one here while I'm filming this video, but I'm sure that one's going to come along here pretty darn soon. But Fortville, pretty cool place to visit, and also a really cool place to live if the small town is right for you, and of course this location is right for you. So if you have any other questions about Fortville, then make sure you reach out to us. And until the next one, we'll see you later.